Hello, this is the RPG Crawler, and welcome to another RPG News Roundup, this time for February 24th, 2024, where each week I take a look back at the week in tabletop, computer, and console role-playing game news and bring you the highlights. As always, we will start with computer and console role-playing game news. Shapeshifter Games, staffed by ex-Volition studio members, has been taken under the wing of In Exile to develop steampunk RPG Clockwork Revolution. It'll be interesting to see how this one goes. Clockwork Revolution looks to be a steampunk first-person RPG where you can travel into the past and influence events to alter history. Evering is set to release on February 28th. It is a turn-based pixel art RPG that has been in early access for a while now. It has you playing a prince looking for the origin of a particular legend, even in lieu of his royal duties. Goblin Stone is set to launch on March 21st. It focuses on goblins driven near to extinction, and you assemble a group of them to fight back against the humans, elves, and dwarves in a procedurally generated world. Kingdom Come Deliverance is, wow, that's an old one, getting a Nintendo Switch release on March 15th. It'll be the Royal Edition and have both physical and digital releases. It will include all of the DLC releases that have been available on both platforms on other platforms for a while now. Stolen Realm is getting a full version release on March 18th. Targeted for the PC, Xbox One, Xbox Series X/S, and the Switch, it has you take control of 6 heroes through a procedurally generated adventure in a high fantasy world. It will have both single-player and online co-op play. It has been in early access for a while now. Inotria, The Last Song, has a release date set, suited for June 21st on the PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X/S, and the PC. It'll be a Souls-like game setting in a fantasy world inspired by Italian folklore and culture. Also appearing on June 21st, I should have done this first, Elden Ring's expansion, Shadow of the Erdtree, is set for release. A trailer came out recently which gives hints as to its contents and has been providing quite a bit of fodder for the Souls-like community to make big 40 to an hour long videos on a 4-minute trailer. Anyway, Shin Megami Tensei 5 Vengeance is set for release on June 21st as well. An enhanced version of the Nintendo Switch title. It'll be targeting the PC, PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Xbox Series X/S, and the Switch. A remaster of Monster Hunter Stories is set to hit this summer, targeting the PC, PS4, and Switch. It will include better graphics, full voice acting, a museum mode, and updates that were prior only available in Japan. Fantasy Life I, The Girl Who Steals Time, is set to release on October 10th. A sequel to the 3DS title, Fantasy Life, it'll be targeting the Switch. It is set on an island that used to be the seat of a civilization. You develop the island through crafting quests, and so on. Ender Magnolia, Bloom in the Mist, is set for release sometime this year for the Switch, sequel to the Ender Lily's Quietus of the Nights. It is set decades after a reign of death, and you play someone who has the power to purify things. One Phoenix Down is set for release on PC sometime next year. It looks to be a story-driven, turn-based game by a solo developer inspired by SNES-era games. Zhanyan Sword, The Gate of Firmament, is getting a PS5 physical release. The PS5 version will include faster loads, high-res graphics, as well as all prior DLC. As far as actual releases go, Unicorn Overlord has a demo available. It'll let you transfer your save to the full game when it releases next month. Bandletale, a League of Legends story, saw its release. It is a crafting RPG set in Bandle City, and it is developed by the studio that came up with Graveyard Keeper. Last Epoch saw its release. It is an action RPG Diablo-like, where you travel through a fragmented world in different eras to bring it back together for the future. And as you're exploring dungeons, dealing with loot, crafting weapons, and so on, you have various classes and mastery classes. You know how it goes. Star Trek Legends is in early access on the PC. It is an action-adventure RPG originally on Apple Arcade, now available on Steam. Dragon Ball Z Kakarot has its final DLC released. Goku's Next Journey takes place during the 10 years after part and involves a new world tournament. It'll include Pan and Oob as new characters. Genso Chronicles is a pixel graphics JRPG where you forge connections with guardian beasts. With the stronger the connection, the more powerful the beasts attack. Stories from the Outbreak is a turn-based roguelike zombie RPG. It has you running a group of survivors from a doomed city towards a ferry providing transport across the North Sea. Powerlust looks to be an old-school action RPG with an open world and a sort of open character class design system with the usual procedural generation of levels and items. Free Stars, the Urkon Masters, looks to be a port of the old Star Control 2 game, and it is a free-to-play game on Steam. Nimir is a turn-based tactical RPG. It has you playing an immortal warlord with a squad of undead looking to conquer various humans for their souls. Dwarf Looter is a procedurally generated roguelike dungeon crawler where you face off against various creatures to amass treasure, always with an eye towards a limited inventory. Less an RPG and more of a turn-based tactical game. I'm still mentioning it here because there's a lot of overlap here. SCP, The Expedition, lets you command a squad of individuals looking for a kidnapped professor while facing off against the Chaos Insurgency, all within the SCP universe. Finally, there's Fantasy Adventure Builder, a digital version of the Tome of Adventure design from Mythmere Games, meant to streamline designing tabletop role-playing game adventures through the use of hundreds of tables. I have the old Tome of Adventure design back when it was still under Necromancer and Frog God. So, Matt Finch is making moves on his own properties now. With that, let's move on to tabletop role-playing games proper. It looks like Evil Hat Publishing will be publishing an officially licensed Tomb Raider tabletop role-playing game, and you can see the cover and judge for yourself. Free League has announced Coriolis the Great Dark, a new sci-fi tabletop RPG. It'll be a sequel to Coriolis the Third Horizon. The Kickstarter will launch later on. Onward towards minor and PDF releases, we'll start with Legendary War Priest from Legendary Games, suited for Pathfinder 1st Edition. It'll feature additional materials for the War Priest class, redesigning it along with 35 domains, 6 new archetypes, and so on. Then Samurai Sheepdog has S-class characters Swashbucklers, also suited for Pathfinder 1st Edition. This one details a Swashbuckler class upgraded to the S-class standard, features a full 20-level class, various new styles, new deeds, and so forth. Pet DM has a few offerings for 5th Edition. The Ball of Glamour is a social adventure for level 8 characters. They also have the Crystal Caverns, a adventure for level 3 characters set in an enchanted forest. The Rare Game is for level 8 characters and features a chase with a transformed adventurer subject to fey magic. And finally, they have the Desecration of the Mystical Lake. I believe these are all focused around an enchanted forest. So there you go. AAW Game has 2 more entries into their Mini Dungeon series. Mini Dungeons number 286. Jeez. Shrine of Winds, suited for level 5 5th edition characters, has a village that enjoys good weather attributed to Oni, who reside in a Shrine of Winds, when suddenly the weather begins to swing wildly. Then, number 287, To Catch a Ghost, deals with a pirate captain who was killed some time ago and has now popped back into existence. Libris Nocturne is a level 0 to 12 adventure anthology for 5th edition. It focuses on fear-based adventures of various sorts, and also includes a bestiary with over 60 creatures. Dark World, Act 1, The Ritual, is a 5th edition adventure from Peterson Games, so of course it's got a Lovecraftian touch to it, which features the characters being caught up in attempts of a mad ruler to curry favor with the fungi from Yugoth. Artos' Modular Magic Weapons is a collection of over 91 different weapon options for various components for each weapon type, allowing you to mix and match effects and details of individual weapons for your own customization. Hoopty's Magical Emporium is a 5th edition offering that focuses on a magical shop with 9 services and 31 magical items for sale. Sounds kind of shady, but there you go. Tactical Doctrine, Troll King, is a 5th edition supplement for goblins, orcs, and trolls with a new barbarian class, various subclasses, as well as new monster stat blocks and more. Mine Your Own Business is a 5th edition adventure suited for level 5 characters that starts in a small village where a gold mine has been overtaken by a scary creature. The mayor, however, doesn't want to let anybody in to the mine, supposedly afraid that the monster may get out, while his wife has other plans. Dead Wedding from Part Per Million is a 5th edition solo adventure. It features a society wedding that has gone wrong, catching the character up within it. King of the Undercroft is a 5th edition adventure that deals with a rundown temple outside of town. Apparently a sleepless evil stalks the halls beneath. It is suited for levels 1 and 2. The Menagerie, The Elwood Chronicles, is available in print, a 5th edition campaign adventure that includes many new magic items, spells, monsters, as well as a new subclass, new background, and various lore for the world. Pirates and Power Holders is a 5th edition guide for creating an anime-inspired campaign influenced by, basically, One Piece. Venestra has several offerings from the World of Venestra collection. There is a setting for 5th edition. It starts with the first book, The World of Venestra itself, which introduces the setting, player options, and so forth. And I've got these out of order because there's like 5 of them and they're in order, but I don't have them in order. Anyway, Deveros, the Amethyst Crown, features a massive city that is the capital of the Alderan Empire. The Alderan Empire itself is a book that details the lore and background for the nation of the Alderans. Blood Tithe Chapter 1 is an adventure book that takes characters from levels 1 to 5, featuring vampires within Deveros. And finally, Seif's Guide to the Creatures of Deveros is a tome of monsters, demigods, and other encounters for the setting. Riot Minds has a few offerings for the world of Kensei. The first is the world of Kensei itself, a setting for 5th edition that is inspired by Asia. Then the Scroll of Wukong is an adventure for the world of Kensei suited for first-level characters. The world of Averon is a 5th level or a 5th edition campaign and adventure guide featuring a map and rule book with over 100 adventure hooks, over 100 images and maps, information, lore, details on the realm, over 100 NPCs, etc. Cobalt Press has Souls-like role-playing for 5th edition. It's a guide that offers ways to implement Souls-like progression, combat options, and so forth into 5th edition gaming, as well as an introductory adventure to demonstrate them. I have done Souls-like inspired tabletop games before, and if you don't do them right, they're kind of awkward, but there's a lot of interest in that nowadays, so I may have to actually take a look at that. Anyway, Gaming Brew has 5th edition Druid subclass Circle of the Treant. It deals with druids that are connected with awakened trees and in ancient forests. Philip Reed has a couple of card offerings for Shadowdark RPG. There's Ensorcelled Loot, which includes a 48 cards deck of treasure cards with new weapons, potions, and other objects. There's also Shadowspark treasure cards, also available in print, which is a 52 card deck looking to offer more treasure options for Shadowdark in general. The Slumbering City is an OSR-style offering for Shadowdark that is inspired by Robert E. Howard's Conan series. Sunday Matinee Crawls, The Hive Opens is a DCC RPG-compatible adventure for second-level characters. Available in print, it deals with a stay at an inn where the ground begins to shake and rumble with an earthquake, then revealing a cave system hidden below the town. Aldwin Dane's Rings of Power describes various magic items for a D&D campaign. In this case, they're focused on rings. Tales of Wolfguard is an old-school Essentials adventure. It includes descriptions and maps of the province of Blizzard Vale and the faraway den, the Wolfguard's outpost. It includes an introductory adventure, 7 encounter-related mini-dungeons, various legends, rumors, encounters, a random generator to create quest plots, 13 new monsters, 6 pre-generated third-level characters, and so forth. Populated Hexes, issue 30, is suited for old-school Essentials and is available in print. This one focuses on religion, specifically the gods of Absalom, with the rules for generating deities for your own OSR game. Shadow of the Weird Wizard from Schwalbe Entertainment is a fantasy role-playing game that is based on the engine behind the Shadows of the Demon Lords, but for more classic, less dire styles of play, so more classic fantasy. Hiss Cairn Edition is a module that features a falling star where people go missing and neighbors begin to change in the village of Plum Oleander. Dragon Zine Issue 1 is a zine for the Dragonbane role-playing game. It includes an interview, tips, and tricks for GMs, new monsters and PCs, new professions, a guide to creating magical and cursed items, rules for black powder weapons, and a few adventures. Meanwhile, Mousekin is a playerkin for Dragonbane with encounters and heroic abilities. It looks like it's inspired by a certainly recently public domain version of a certain mouse. The Era of the Mermaid is a collection of scenarios for the Mask and the Sword historical fantasy swashbuckling. This collection features 11 scenarios. Monte Cook Games has Rust and Redemption. It is a cipher system campaign tool for building various post-apocalyptic wastelands, ruins, and so forth, with character options, rules for scavenging, repairing, and so forth, new creatures, as well as a complete campaign setting in and of itself. Quaysloth Gazette, Heralds of Love and Beauty, is one of what will be a series of volumes detailing the realms of Quaysloth for the cipher system, as well as focus on articles dealing with love and beauty and those things related to them. Minimus Ludus is a light role-playing game with a flexible engine suited for multiple genres, including 8 different roles ready to play, including sci-fi, primitive hunters, kung fu versus evil undead, fantasy adventure, and more. Chaosium has Call of Cthulhu Arkham, a guide to the city of Arkham for Call of Cthulhu, set up as a sandbox setting. It has 290 locations detailed across 9 neighborhoods with scenario seeds and many NPCs. Modifius has Octoon Cthulhu Unexplored, featuring various expeditions through uncharted territory, with rules for various dangerous terrain and information on wilderness adventure. They also have Fallout RPG, Astoundingly Awesome Tales Issue 4, Haunted, an adventure that has the characters taking shelter in a raider-held location from a storm when suddenly a terrifying creature arrives. Also from Modifius is Dreams of Machines, Shadow in the Daylight, an adventure for said system that has characters hearing rumors of and encountering a group of thralls, which they may then trace back to a hidden hideout. Zozer Games has Cepheus Universal, a universal sci-fi role-playing game based on the Cepheus engine. It has no included setting, but has some examples for adapting it to various sci-fi settings. Effective Immediately is a trifold pamphlet-style offering for Mothership RPG that includes 3 new classes modified with a modified, more gritty panic table. Mutant Hive Wars is a solo 3D hex hunt for bugs, which can be used as a proper standalone adventure. GURPS Tactical Shooting Extreme Conditions from Steve Jackson Games offers rules that expand on GURPS tactical shooting to areas of environmental uncertainty covering hospital habitats and their effects on wielding and maintaining weaponry, especially firearms of recent to past provenance. Finally, there is Basic and Generic Role-Playing Game Core Manual available in print. I believe this actually came out last month, but I missed it during the slew of things, and I did promise the developer that I'd make a mention of it. I just completely it's just been a busy time for me. I've been dealing with a lot of stuff. Anyway, It is a modularized tabletop role-playing game with rules set into 3 modules of different levels of playing experience among various genres. With that, let's take a look at our RPG crowdfunding campaigns. Remember that contributing to a crowdfunding campaign should be done only at your own risk. Doing so is no guarantee of even receiving a product mentioned here is not an endorsement, but is for informational purposes only. And it looks like a video/console crowdfunding campaign caught my eye this week. Year 2031 looks to be a new Game Boy game with a post-apocalyptic story-driven RPG compatible with the original Game Boy system and available. Apparently, it will be compatible with various emulators as well. On to tabletop role-playing game crowdfunding. We'll start with Pathfinder 2 Epic. It looks to be a guide for epic level of play with classes upgraded as well as several epic archetypes and monsters to deal with all the way up to level 30. Dungeons and Heists will be an expansion to stealth and thievery mechanics for 5th edition, suited for all classes. It will include Game Master tools and looks like it will include a guide to alchemy and poisoncraft as well. There will be new classes, subclasses, magic items, spells, monsters, and much more. The World of Shira, the 7th Realm, looks to be a 5th edition compatible high fantasy epic world. This Volume 1 will include details and background, including creatures, characters, locations, history, and lore. Wanted, Dead or Alive will be a 5th edition adventure in 3 parts, yet another entry into the Zine Quest month. It is a standalone sequel to Jailbreak and will feature a point crawl through a desert. The Neverling will be a 5th edition one-shot where insectoid constructs are raiding a village. The origin of mechanical bugs must be found, and I guess they must be stopped. Destroy the Bridge will be a 5th edition adventure for the Amazons vs. Valkyries campaign setting, suited for 8th levels characters. It will be a special operations style mission, I'm guessing involving a bridge. Echoes looks to be a shattered setting and adventure for 5th edition. Set in a world riddled by rifts, it'll feature 2 hardcovers with 26 fragments of the setting, or rifts, amongst 8 different adventures. The Clawing Chaos looks to be a 5th edition Zine Quest adventure for the Outer Seas. It is a hydropunk role-playing fantasy setting in a world of oceans and endless adventure. The Chronicles of Teleboria, Volume 1, looks to be a sandbox world for tabletop role-playing games, supposedly 5th edition compatible and set in Zine format. It'll include high-resolution digital maps and history, demographics, politics, etc. for the 4 major cities. Alexander's Assemblage of Alchemical Arts looks to be a collection of 100-plus alchemical products for 5th edition, Pathfinder 2nd edition, and Old School Essentials. It has every potion with its own art, stories, etc. Cryptid Manual looks to be a RPG monster manual of 5th edition, DCC RPG, Old School Essentials, and Survive This versions. It'll have art, descriptions, and stats for nearly 80 cryptids. Pocketbook Crack the Code Challenges looks to be a technically 5th edition set of code cracking and open the lock style challenges, although it can be used for other tabletop role-playing games. It looks like it'll focus on encrypted messages. I like these little ones that deal with puzzles and things like that, because as decent as I am at combat encounters, I'm not great at, inventing puzzles. So, yeah, I kind of need help with those. Crawl Cards Overland looks to be a set of 5th edition compatible cards for exploration and discovery, as well as general hex crawling. It looks like it will feature various terrains, allow you to build a map and flesh out your own world on the fly. Galactic Resurgence will be a sci-fi 5th edition one-shot suited for 5th edition adventures, 5th level 5th edition adventures, but with a sci-fi theme. It'll take place in space on an alien planet. Castle Elkenstone looks to be a horror scenario for advanced dungeon goons and tunnel goons. It features a backwater province with a feared baron with little to trade that is rarely traveled, but everybody whispers of this castle. Cozy Quest Collection 1 looks to be a rules-agnostic set of silly side quests and diversions with quirky characters and oddities, generally suited for fitting in between other more serious adventures. Escape from Toy will be a Doomer the RPG one-shot adventure, a zine compatible with Traveler, CPS Engine, Stars Without Number, and other sci-fi RPGs because it's technically system-agnostic. It's drawn from the 1969 pulp sci-fi classic Toyman. Oops, The Heroes Are Dead looks to be a zine that blends OSR and other ideas and influenced by various aesthetics, including Dungeon Food, Freerin, and the books of Earthsea, etc. It revolves around some zero-level characters who discover that the main heroes have been killed and must take up their highly magical artifacts in order to try and save the world with them. Savage Cocaine Owlbear looks to be a conversion of the Cocaine Owlbear module for Savage Worlds. I mean, what else do you want? Meanwhile, the Savage Worlds science fiction companion looks to be a set of rules for starships, mechs, cyberware, weapons, gear, robots, etc. for sci-fi universes in the Savage World system. Eldritch Deeds looks to be a role-playing game system that blends eldritch horror and mythic fantasy in a medieval-inspired world. It looks like it will include minimal war, an elegant dice system, gritty and realistic rules, and so forth. Vampire the Masquerade Chapters Definitive Edition looks to be a massive RPG in a box with 60-plus scenarios for 1 to 4 players. There will be a digital version as well, a deluxe version that includes... I guess this is more a board game with RPG elements than a proper role-playing game. I'm mentioning it because it is associated with Vampire the Masquerade. The Bitter Cloak of Night looks to be a Slavic horror mini RPG campaign featuring quiet mountain villages when a cold fog sets in. It will focus on hex crawling with 6 locations, some dungeons, NPCs, rumors, mythology, and more. Let's Create Something Beautiful looks to be an attempt to raise money to elevate some existing Candle Obscura offerings from AI-generated graphics to actual human-generated art. More power to them. Era Kaiju will be a role-playing game where you play a kaiju. You become a team of giant monsters dealing with various alpha kaiju who might threaten your territory. It uses the Era D10 system. Wow, okay, that was outside. Time Tales RPG looks like it'll try to be an RPG inspired by things like Doctor Who, Back to the Future, Bill and Ted's Adventures, and so forth, with inspirations from the 80s and 90s offerings. And on that note, I will wrap things up here. This has been the RPG Crawler with my RPG News Roundup for February 24th, 2024. As always, links will be below. If you like what you've seen, remember to leave a like, comment, any feedback, and subscribe for more RPG content. Until next time, take care and goodbye.
And if you are still watching, I would like to take the opportunity to thank my supporters, the top tiers of which are listed on the screen, without whose support I would not have been able to offer the variety of content that I have on this channel throughout the years. If you're feeling particularly generous and would like to join them, you can support the channel. There are a variety of options to do so. I have a Patreon, a Subscribestar, as well as channel memberships enabled. If you are not in a position to contribute, simply leaving a like, a comment, or sharing my videos are all wonderful ways to help the channel grow without spending a dime, and are all greatly appreciated.